Hey, welcome to Sisters Unfiltered. This is Ashley and Lindsay. We're so excited to be here today. This is like take 4 of this episode. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, Lindsay's like, somebody needs to hear this this subject matter because it's been just a fight.
It's unbelievable, guys. Like I have tried to get I bought a new camera because if you don't know, we just record from my Mac computer. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to get fancy and try a camera. And it spazzes out while we're in the middle of recording. So we recorded a whole entire episode. And this episode already once, it spazzed out. Then we just finally were like, never mind, we're just going to delete it. So we're going to record it again another day. And I just tried it again and it spazzed out. So we're trying
back to square one.
We're back to square one.
It's fine.
So, whew. And I have a cough, so please just ignore my coughing. But before we move on, like, subscribe, comment, answer any questions that we post on social media, please, because we just want it to be interactive. Message us, whatever it is. Watch us on YouTube. It just really helps us out. Yeah. Share any of our clips that you like would be super helpful. Great. So, and we're also on TikTok. Can't say I'm a fan of TikTok because it is really hard to figure out the algorithm, but we are on TikTok. So, but yeah, we're so happy to be here today for the third time.
Yes. Lindsay's cough is because of allergies in Austin. Yeah. If you don't know, if you don't live here, it's almost perfect to live here. We absolutely love it, but we used to have something called cedar. There's cedar trees, cedar allergies, and they just affect everybody for the most part. So it's like what everyone talks about, like how people used to talk about, like, you know, you talk about the weather is something like, you know, how's the weather? It's like, how are your allergies?
No, it's real.
How's the cedar affecting you? Like literally when I go work out, wherever I go, people are talking about cedar allergies. If you cough or sneeze or sniff, everyone is like,
cedar fever.
Nobody thinks you're sick like you have the flu.
No,
they're all like, oh my gosh, you have allergies. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're an allergist in the Austin area, you probably make bank.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It is real here. So
and it's really weird because it's in the winter. Which is just like,
it's not a spring thing. I mean, there's actually pollen here at all times of the year, but the worst is December to the end of February. Yeah, and it's insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. So,
so that's Lindsay's cough is from that, I think. Yeah. And then also it's Valentine's week. Valentine's Day is in a few days, and so we're doing that. So Derek and Lindsay, they celebrate Valentine's Day. We talked about this on the podcast before, I remember, but
yeah, I mean, this year we're just going downtown, but not for Valentine's Day. So Derek,
I know that's like us too. Like we're doing a date day tomorrow, but it's not necessarily for
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, Derek always has Calference. Yeah. So his Square Cow has a conference called the Calference every year in February, and it's a very big undertaking for Derek. And so last year, I actually think he had Calference, and then that day that
you guys went after.
We went after and went downtown. And then this year we're going tomorrow. We just say Austin is just such a fun city. If you live in a fun city and you have not gone downtown and just stay the night with your husband, I highly recommend it.
I was going to say that too.
It's so fun.
We do that every year. We do a staycation where we go downtown and stay the night and just kind of do downtown things. And it really does feel like you're on vacation.
It really does.
Even though your house is only like 25 minutes
away.
away.
Like if you live, like Derek's family lives 2 hours from Atlanta, but like it would be so fun to just go to Atlanta and spend the night and just have a little time with your husband. So
sometimes I'm like, oh, do we really want to do that? It's just like 20 minutes away, but then like when we do it, I always am so happy.
I do too.
And I'm like, we should do it more than one night. This is great. Yeah.
So we have reservations. I mean, actually, I kind of told Derek I didn't want to like dress up and get fancy. And so we're actually just going to go eat at Gus's Fried Chicken downtown, which we love. And then Derek has reservations for a skip dessert at our hotel, actually, that later in the night. Yeah. So, and then Saturday morning, like it's supposed to rain here. So if it's raining, I don't know what we'll do. But if it's not raining, we'll probably walk around and get coffee. Yeah. And
so
we'll see. It's just Austin's such a fun city. So that's what we're doing. Yes. Our kids are out of school right now just for a winter break, which now that my kids are older, kind of like out of school. I mean, by the end of summer, I'm ready for them to go back. But
it's just not so like running around.
It's not.
Getting up or like you just have to like, you have a slower morning.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Like our kids are so chill in the mornings. Like we have a new puppy. Yes. And so like they're helping with the puppy. So I don't have to be there as much. Like all of that is just.
You kind of have some freedom with them home.
I know, no, honestly. Really, like legit. So anyways, it's kind of nice.
And then I was like saying earlier, we always get our kids something for we feel like Valentine's Day is for moms and the kids and, you know, whatever. And we always get our kids something. So I got Ella like something because she's here, but none of my other kids are here. The married ones, I'm not getting them anything. So sorry, guys. But for my 2 that are in college, I was like, should I send them a care package? Should I get them something for Valentine's Day? Because I just loved that growing up. My mom always did that.
Me too.
And so I told Lindsay, I was like, I'm literally going to Venmo them on Valentine's morning and just be like, go get something for yourself. Happy Valentine's Day.
I know. It's because I was like, I agree with that because I thought about sending Parker too. And then I was like, he loves this place called Lola Beans in Tennessee. They do not give out gift cards. Yeah. Anybody, if you know anybody who owns a Lola Beans, be like, come on guys, get with it. We need gift cards because I called for Christmas. Anyways, but I'm going to Venmo him and say, go get you a little energy drink from Lola Beans.
I feel like they'll love it.
And they'll love it. It'll be such a cool little treat to wake up to. So I think that's a great idea. Yeah. And y'all are you and Jeremy are doing a little day
tomorrow. Like, we love to go downtown and run Town Lake. And we'll probably go. I love getting coffee at Desnudo. That's
what we're
favorite.
Doing. Our hotel is right around. Derek literally chose the hotel we're staying in so that we could walk to Desnudo.
Yeah, I love it. It's like one of my favorite
It's a coffee
things.
truck.
Yes.
And Derek loves it.
Yeah, and if we have time, I would love to go see a movie. But
oh yeah,
I'm not sure we can do all those things tomorrow while Ella's in school.
Yeah, so Ella's in a different school schedule than our kids because
she's out all next week.
Because 2 of my girls have said, while y'all are recording the podcast, is Ella coming over? And I was like, why do y'all keep saying that? And they were like, well, because you're recording the podcast. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So she has a whole winter break all next week. She's out. But anyway, so that'll be fun. I'm excited. I do love Valentine's. Like, Valentine's Day is just fun.
It's just like a little pick-me-up after January. It's sweet. It's like thoughtful.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I don't want to have reservations on Valentine's Day night. Yeah. I don't want to do it because I feel like it's just like so expensive. Yeah. And it's crowded.
That's why I was like, we don't need to go, which we wouldn't have gone on Valentine's Day anyways because of where it falls this year. But I was like, we need to go like before. Yeah. Because I don't want to deal with all that either.
I know.
So
that just shows our age, I'm sure.
It does.
Anyway, so today we're talking about teenagers, and we've tried to talk about it like 18 times.
Yes, we have.
We just thought this would be a fun subject. One, I have 4 pretty much through the teenage years. Lindsay has 4 in the teenage years right now. I have 1 that's in it right now as well. And so we were just saying how, like, we were kind of having this conversation, like, our mom really, like, kind of set us up for success in raising teenagers. Not that we like did that perfectly. That's not what I'm saying. You'll understand in a second. But she really was like, don't let people tell you that raising teenagers are awful. Teenagers are the worst, blah, 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 blah. Because she was like, honestly, I really enjoyed y'all as teenagers. Mm-hmm. And she was like, your teenagers get your humor. You start having these conversations, like you get to hang out. Mm-hmm. Again, don't get me wrong, not friends with my teenagers. Okay, I'm not their friend. I'm still their parent.
For sure.
But it is a different relationship. It is so fun. And I really felt that way too. Now, I'm not saying everything was just like rainbows and, roses during the teenagers. We did have some rebellious times with some of our kids and that kind of thing. But overall, I loved having teenagers. And I actually love having young adults,
Yeah, I think it's, I agree. I think that like, Mom used to always say, and we've said this before, she would say stuff like, people would ask me like, how are your teenagers, good teenagers or whatever. And she was like, I just never accepted that they were going to be rebellious. Because a lot of people, it's like people who claim terrible twos over your 2-year-old. Well, if you keep speaking it, you're going to speak it into existence. Yeah. And it's the same for teenagers. If you keep speaking that they are going to be rebellious, then they are going to be rebellious because you've just accepted it before they've even gotten there. Yeah. And so I think that it's the same thing. I think that we were just taught like that for every season of kids' lives to like be looking forward to it and excited about it and don't just lay down and accept. Now, if something happens during that time, you obviously handle it. Yeah. But one thing that I think makes you really do enjoy your teenagers is how you parent leading up to your teenagers. Yes. So and that could be
are you going to be able to enjoy them?
Yeah, like I think if you enjoy your teenagers, it's because you've already taught your teenagers how to be respectful, how to, it doesn't mean they don't ever do anything stupid. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying that you can enjoy them more if you've taught them in the years leading up.
And I think it's funny because I feel like teenagers get a really bad rap. Like
they do.
If you're on like say Facebook or something and something happens in the community, people are always like teenagers, they always think it's a teenager
driving.
They're
crazy driving.
Yes, bashing on the teenagers, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, first of all, You were a teenager one time, and I'm sure that you were not perfect.
No.
Okay, you're not
Well,
mature.
that's probably why those people think it is the teenagers, because that's how they were.
Yeah, but why are they so mean about it?
They are so mean
You
about
know, like,
teenagers.
and there just doesn't seem to be a lot of grace. Where I feel like there
And
needs
it's
to
actually
be.
interesting that you say that, because people are always shocked when teenagers aren't like that and are respectful and kind and can talk to an adult. I'm like, I've been around a lot of teenagers in the last several years because of my boys, and I've been around great teenagers.
I just feel like they're growing up. They're still kids. They're learning a lot. I'm not saying they don't do stupid stuff. They do.
They do.
They absolutely do.
But that doesn't mean you throw them in a pool and say everybody's bad.
Yeah, all the teenagers
are all
terrible.
they're all difficult. They're all annoying,
Yeah.
and they don't.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I kind of would like to just give a lot of grace towards teenagers.
You know? Yes. No, for sure. Because also, if you're a parent, your teenager very well could be doing the same thing.
Yes.
Or has done the same thing.
Yeah.
And so, if you're a grumpy elderly person, if you have kids, your teenager probably did do that. Like, that's just
or if you're a parent that has young kids and you've never had teenagers yet.
Do not. Just don't go there. Just don't even do it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's been great.
I love it.
We just wanted to talk about a few things when it comes to teenagers, like what we've done and kind of our thought process. And I always like to start off with like the car thing, like driving.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, what were your things about driving with your kids? Like, did they get their license on their birthdays? Did they wait? Did you have a lot of rules surrounding that? Like, what did you?
No, our family is a big, like, get your license on your birthday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We get permit on your birthday. We get license on your birthday. I'm not sure if some of you live in a place where all the kids want to drive, but we live in a place where it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Like, some teenagers want to drive, some don't. And I'm like, whoever gave you the option?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have the option not to drive. And I know maybe some of you think, well, I will just be nervous for my kid to drive. Okay, well, they're going to have to drive at some point.
Yeah.
So whether you want to go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid now, and then some of you might come back and say, yeah, but they're so young. I'm like, so what? Whether they drive at 16 or they drive at 21, the experience of driving is what makes them a better driver. So, like, they have to get out there and drive.
Yeah.
You
have to get the reps.
You have to get the reps
driving.
to get good.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I mean, listen, by all means, if you have a crazy teenager that's been extremely rebellious and you can't trust them, no, they probably don't need to be driving. But that doesn't mean they can't get their license.
Yeah, but that's not what you're talking about.
No.
That's not what
I'm talking about people who just, like, their kids don't want to drive, so they say, okay, and they drive their kids everywhere.
Yeah.
That is not happening in my household.
Yeah.
We need drivers.
Yeah. I mean, I do think some of it is, like, I can't even imagine not getting my license on my birthday. But, like, for my kids, they were the same way. But also having a big family, I just was like, I'm sorry, Tyler. Like, I need your help. Like, you are going to get your license when you turn 16. You're going to do your permit. You're going to take your test, all the things. Like,
we just
all of them.
So far, we've not waited on any of
Yeah. And actually, none of my kids have wanted to wait.
No.
But a lot of their friends and people we know have. But for us, and also in Texas, like, if you don't know, like, the speed limit is high.
It is high.
People drive fast and that
do.
kind of thing. But I'm just like, for us, there's just like, no way, like, you're getting a license, you know?
Sure.
What about, like, rules around, like, once they got their license, like, how far they could go? Could they have passengers in the car? Did they have, like, a different curfew because they were driving or, like, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any rules because the bottom line is we already have so many rules about so many things. And so for me, like, that's not something worth it. Number one, if you're going to say your kid cannot drive with other people in the car, it is going to be very short-lived because they're going to start calling you every time and trying to talk you into it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like, that's just, well, one, they have so many siblings.
Yeah.
So my kids are going to be used to driving kids in the car from the minute they get their license.
Yeah, I mean, my kids have like 4 siblings in their car.
And then
like,
they have cousins.
They started driving.
And they have
cousins too. Yeah.
And so it's just like one of those things where it's like, it's going to happen regardless. And whatever, if that wants to be your battle to pick, go for it. Yeah. It was not mine. And so I just have never had that rule.
I think it's a good thing what you said. A lot of those things, like, you probably will, if you want to start out doing them, they'll probably be short-lived.
They're going to be short-lived.
Because I remember with Tyler, I'd be like, okay, you can go to this intersection, but you can only go that far. I mean, that lasted like a week because guess what? I need something like Target.
Yeah,
and I was like, actually, you can go past that.
You're like, this one time, and then it's like one time again, and then, Yeah, so like I
never with the passenger thing necessarily. Now we kind of are careful about, besides siblings and cousins, like friends asking, like your little siblings' friends asking for rides, that kind of thing. I kind of like put my foot down with some of that too, and I know you did.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the one thing is like I've had to say, like, you know, Micah is not Amory's friend's driver,
right?
Because I don't know all her friends' parents, and I don't want there to ever be a situation where he gets blamed for something like
and
driving
other parents
crazy.
might not be okay with a kid riding with a 17-year-old.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. And so like that's how I feel. So I did the same thing with Parker. Like I was like, Micah, Parker is not your friends, and they've all been really good about it. It's actually not really been my kids that have wanted their siblings to drive them around. It's my kids' friends' parents who want them to have rides.
Right. Exactly.
Which is fine. I totally understand that. But like, I just can't.
Again, coming from a big family, I mean, honestly, like my kids they don't have a choice. Like they're going to pick up a sibling if I need them to. Yeah. They're going to run to the store for me if I need them to. I mean, that's just how it is.
Parker straight up drove to Topgolf like on his birthday, which is like 40 minutes away. Yeah. Like the first time Micah got his license, when he was driving from DPS, he was like, this is the first time I've ever been on the interstate.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I probably told that on here. I was like, oh, that's valid. I should have done a better job with that. Yeah. Now, to our defense, we don't live by an interstate. Like in Alabama, you would get on the interstate to go anywhere. Right. Here, you do not, where we live. And so like, they drive on main roads, but just like the interstate's just not something they have to get on very often. So anyways.
Who's better at teaching your kids to drive? You or Derek?
Derek is probably better. Derek's better at teaching everything, but Derek's not around to do that. Yeah. So, like, I have to do it. He doesn't
have the same proximity and time.
Yeah. I mean, Micah, like Parker, we taught Parker how to drive. Parker drove all the time because he was our oldest. But then Micah was with Parker all the time. So, like, Micah did not learn really to drive until, like, I don't know. He didn't drive
closer
a lot.
To 16?
Yes. Yeah. And that was Grayson.
Yeah. Oh, that
Grayson
for sure.
hardly ever drove until closer to 16. So
where I was like, oh no, he's about to get his license. We're about to get
like, we got to be intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, it's just different. And so Anne Marie really she drove the day of her permit, and I keep forgetting to get her drive, and she's really not like said much about it. I'm not that worried about it. We still have almost a year before she can get her license. But yeah, I mean, Derek is definitely more patient with our kids, but I'm the one who's taught them how to drive because.
Yeah. Jeremy's much better at teaching our kids than me. Like, just better. I think I'm just on them more and like nag them more.
Well, we have to nag our kids about everything
in the car, and Jeremy's just a little bit more patient. And like, which is funny because our personalities aren't like that. But but yeah, he does a better job. But again, he doesn't have the time, like I do to teach them.
Yeah, I mean, I got Derek. I think Micah and Parker, Derek helped. We were in the car together when they first drove, like when they got their permit. Yeah. But Amory, I did it. Yeah. And I was like nervous because she really did not know what she was doing.
But it also just takes so much time for them to learn how to drive because it's like you just want to get down the road and you're like, it's just going to take more time when they're driving.
It really does.
Like, have you ever had a sticker on the back of your car that says student driver?
No.
Me neither. But I still want to like tell people something like, I'm so sorry, my 15-year-old's driving.
You know what? I kind of like it when I see those stickers. I actually think bad drivers should have those stickers on their car just because they're bad at driving in general. But no, I've never had that. But
I think I heard one time that people sometimes put those on their car so that cops don't like pull them over.
Oh, is that true? Kind of smart. It's just such an ugly thing.
I know.
There's right next to our house, the parking lot right there. They do student driver lessons all the time right there. Yes. So that's the other thing. Some people pay for someone else to teach their kids, which maybe is a wise thing because
we did that with Tyler because it was like what everyone did. We had this like driving school here in Lake Travis, and then it shut down after the guy had been doing it for years and years and years. Like he was like a pillar in the community of driving school, and it shut down, and then it was just parent. And I'm just saying, I didn't do as good as that guy. Like, it was much better having somebody else teach them. But don't you think that with anything? I was just telling somebody the other day how the girls are all going to CrossFit. And, like, they respond so much better to a coach at CrossFit than, like, me being like, hey, Ella, let's go work out.
For sure.
Or whatever. So, same thing with you.
I agree.
But, anyway. What about cars? Like, I remember, I think that mom and dad told me I was firstborn when I got my car, my Honda Accord, that it was the third family car. I couldn't call it like my car.
No, they did.
Yes,
That's hilarious.
I think they were like, this is the third family car. And I think we told Tyler that too, like when he got his. We're like, just so you know, this is the third family car.
Phones.
This isn't your car.
That's what we do with phones.
Yes.
We're like, this is not your phone.
Yeah.
It's our phone.
Yes.
And you're borrowing.
Yes. So, yeah, anyway. But, like, what did y'all do with cars with your boys? Like, they got a car when they turned 16?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we got Parker a car, used car. A used, like, Honda Civic 4-door. So not what people drive out here, really.
Yeah.
People drive such nice cars I mean, there's tons of teenagers who drive nicer
way
cars than
nicer
us.
cars than
than I drive.
Yeah.
And so, but we were like, yeah, heck no, we're not doing that. We do not care.
Mm-hmm.
And so Derek got him we did surprise him, got him a used little Honda. And we kind of made our plan after Parker was already 16.
Yeah.
And so we got him that, and then we decided to pass that to Micah. And then when Parker turned 18, Derek did buy him a brand new car, but with perimeters, which was, it has to be a Honda or a Toyota.
Yeah.
And this is something that we think you're probably going to have for like 10 years. So think like wife, babies.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
long term.
Yeah, because my boys are so into cars. Like, they think they're so cool and they want to make them like souped up, whatever. And I'm like, think wife and babies.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't just get to make those decisions, by the way. It wasn't just like, oh, whatever. It was, let's talk about it and we'll see if we agree with it. Which is such a blessing that Derek's able to do that. So Micah has the car that Parker drove. So Micah will actually, because he's going to college early, before he turns 18, he will take the white Honda with him to college for a semester, and then he will come back and Derek will get him a new car and he will give that car to Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a great car, but it's for sure like beat up because Micah wrecked it, which we did get it fixed. Parker.
Well, so this is my whole thing.
Yeah.
Like with teenagers and used cars. We all do used cars too. We probably would have never done new cars just because that's not a financial thing that we wanting or able to do necessarily with that many kids driving. But they don't have the reps, just like we were talking about. Like, they do not have the repetitions to not bang that car, open the door, it hits somebody, hits a pole, or back into something, or whatever. And it's just like, in my mind, logically, even if we had it, even if we had the money, I don't think I would get them a new car because I would be like, oh my gosh, they're gonna like beat that thing up.
Yeah.
You know, we have 4 boys too. Lord have mercy.
And it just like doesn't make sense because I don't want them to think that that's like realistic. Like the buying, even for us getting them a new car when they're 18, like Parker was so appreciative, like so appreciative, so grateful. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like getting them that at 16, and some people would say getting them at 18, they don't understand it. But even at 16, I just don't feel like they would understand like the value of that, you know? But yeah, I mean, it is really nice because like this car, the white Honda isn't so beat up. It's a great car. But I mean, there's just some scratches on it and stuff. So to me, it's like, oh, it goes to Anne-Marie. We would love to pass it down to all of our girls, but I don't know if that's going to happen because of the way they fall.
Yes.
Hopefully it can make it to Ava May. That would be the goal.
Yeah.
Make
so
it to Ava May.
Do you make them pay for gas? Do you make them pay for their insurance? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you set that?
We made Parker pay for insurance at first. I don't know when that fell off, but somewhere along the way that changed. Yeah. And so he doesn't pay for insurance, but they do pay for gas.
Yeah.
I think sometimes Derek will like get them gas. I don't know. Right now Parker's different because he's in college and he put some money that Derek gives him towards gas, so I'm not really sure how that works. But with Micah, he works and he pays for his gas. Yeah. Yes, they pay for their own gas.
Yes.
We do not. We pay for insurance, but they pay for their own gas.
Yeah, same. Our kids pay for their own gas, and unless we like ask them to run a lot of errands or run downtown for something or whatever, and then we'll be like, oh, we'll fill your tank up or whatever. Yeah. But we pay for insurance, and as soon as our boys started turning 16, cars and insurance, that's when I first thought, I've got to get like a side hustle. Insurance is so expensive, especially with boys and drivers and all that kind of stuff. And like, it was like the first thing where I thought, I did not think this through, having kids back to back to back who are really like driving. And honestly, it's not the car, the gas, for us, insurance is just really high.
It's so
Still
high.
is. And we have kids coming off insurance, praise the Lord. Yeah. But like, it's just expensive.
It's expensive. We didn't think through college. That's what I didn't think through, having kids so close in age.
I will say that too. But I will say that like, what I've always thought about cars, again, goes back to some of the things of how we were raised, that like when we left college, well, we never had a car payment. Like
Yeah.
our parents gave us our cars. We didn't have a car payment, and we all got married pretty much right out of college, or Jeremy and I were in college, and like what a blessing that was. And so like I feel like you guys getting them a Toyota or a Honda, knowing it's going to last a long time, like you don't even know how to appreciate that until you're on your own, paying your own bills, where you don't have to think about paying for a car.
That's what because for me, like, that wasn't a thing. Like, I didn't really care if we got the kids a car or not,
Yeah.
to be honest, a brand new car. Like, I just kind of felt like we didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, no, I would love to.
You don't. Yeah.
And I was like, but they're 18 and we already got them a
Yeah.
car. And we still have, you know, we have Parker at 18, but we still have Abby Kate down to 12. So, like, so I don't know, but Derek, I think really because that was such a blessing, his grandparents bought him a car. I think that, and not brand new, it's the same thing, but like, I think that was such a blessing that me and him both had cars that we didn't pay for and that we were able to have. Like, we drove our cars with Parker and Micah in them. Or I don't know about Micah, but
like the ones you had. From
college. The ones we
Yeah.
had. And so I think that was such a blessing that like Derek was like, I would love to be able to do that for our kids if we can. Because then that can just
and
be
I
something
actually
they have.
don't think that you owe that to your kids.
You don't.
I just
That's
think
what I was
if
saying.
you can, that's great, but I don't think
you
you owe
don't.
it to them.
Just repeat what my dad always said. I don't owe you anything after the age of 18. But whatever you get from me is a blessing.
Yes.
And you need to be grateful for it. And I'm like, it is so true.
Is
we don't owe our kids college. We don't owe our kids anything. But what we can do is a blessing.
Yes.
And so.
And it's really good for your marriage to come up with those things together and decide what you feel like is best, because you both were raised kind of two different ways and kind of just figure that out, you know, and then what your situation is. But what about kids working, teenagers working?
I was just thinking about that because Anne-Marie, me and Anne-Marie were just talking about in the car today. I want her to get a job. I mean, she'll probably wait until this summer. But I think at 15, your kids need to start working.
Yeah.
I really do. I think 15 is a better age than even 17, because at 15, they can't drive. They're just sitting at home, especially all summer, doing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And even if they're going to like an athletic program, they still have so much time.
Yeah.
And so like a job, that is the best time to make money, because they're excited because they have something to do.
Yeah.
The hardest part is that you're driving them and dropping them off, but literally it's so good for them. So our boys have all worked. I think Micah started at 14 and Parker maybe.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I thought it was 14.
I think it was 14.
It was
At Papa
14
Murphy's.
at Papa Murphy's.
But
So
same. All of our kids have worked from the time that they could.
Yeah.
And our brother's kids, and it's just something that I think was all kind of important for us.
Yeah.
All in different financial situations, but just the importance of them working.
And even your kids worked with sports. You know, I have a lot of people tell me that their kids can't work because they're in sports or football or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And I say yes, but I'm like, yes, they can.
Yeah.
So many of these jobs are so understanding.
They're flexible. Well, they know because they hire teenagers. You know what I mean? Or maybe they're not working during the high sports season.
That's
they
right.
can work other times.
But if they get a job that people love them, their employer loves them, they understand, like, I can work during this season, but then during this I have to take off and then I'll come back.
Yeah. And it just teaches them so much.
It does. It does.
I think it keeps them humble, because they're willing to do. I mean, at that age, you're going to do whatever you have to do. You have to mop the floor, whatever. Our kids have worked at Papa Murphy's. They've delivered Chinese food. They've refed. They've done.
Grayson's worked at Target.
Sports. Grayson worked at Target. Like, yeah, Frozies. Tyler worked at Frozies. But like, it's good. Our brother's kids work at HEB. Tyler's worked at HEB before. Like, I just think that they learn so much about the real world.
They do.
First of all, about money. I also was just kind of came from like, every time my kids want to go to the movies or go eat or whatever with other friends, I'm not paying for that every time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to just start handing you money every single time you want to go with your friends. I'm glad you have friends. I'm glad you're going to go out, but guess what? You're going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
agree.
And I don't know. Like, there are some things I think as parents that you regret. We've talked about that before, but like, I don't regret making our kids work.
No, not at all. And it teaches them about tithing, about saving.
Yep.
It teaches them how to do a bank account. There's just a lot there that is so beneficial.
And there are things about having a job that you don't learn at school.
Oh,
and
for
you don't
sure.
learn in family, and they're just things that you learn by working.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think
you learn how to listen to somebody else. You learn how to business runs.
Yes.
Like, just a lot. So I think that having a job is extremely important, and I literally was talking to my girls today. Abby Kate is Googling for Amory jobs you can get at the age of 15.
Yeah.
And Amory's like, why are you doing this? And I was like, she's trying to help you out. I'm appreciated, Abby Kate. Thank you. She's like naming all the places that Amory could work at 15.
Yes. And Lindsay's right. At 15, before they can drive, you just got yourself a job as well. Because you are around their schedule. You're dropping them off, picking them up, waiting on them. I remember when Sam worked at Tony C's and he was busting tables. I think one night I might have waited like an hour and a half in the car for him because he thought that his shift was almost over. Again, he didn't know because he's 15. And it wasn't. And literally, it was like I didn't want to go all the way back home
because you thought it might be done.
He was going to get off and that was going to have to. It was terrible. It was terrible. And I thought, I wish he didn't have this job. But guess what? So good for him.
I've had times where I'm like out to dinner and my kids are like, I'm off my shift. I'm like, what?
I know.
I'm like, you didn't tell me.
Yes.
And so it was like, we've had to teach that. Like, hey, you have to communicate with me and your boss about a schedule. Like, it can't be you say the schedule.
Oh, but every week when my kids were home and they were working Chinese food, which all of them did, they all would be like, what's my schedule this week?
Yeah, that's what my
So they would have to communicate with me. What was happening with our family, when they could work, all those things. And those things are just good for them.
Or they have to find someone to cover their shift if something doesn't work out. Like, there's just a lot of, like, really, really, really good things about making your kids work. You make them work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they don't want to. You make them do it. Boy or girl, make them do it.
Yeah, I agree. We won't talk about this very long, technology and phones, just because we hit on that a lot of times in our... different ages, different kids.
That's right. Different rules.
Different rules, from getting a phone to what they can have on their phone to all of those things. And it's just a learning process. You know, I do think really, again, it's one of those things you need to be on the same page with your spouse about and just be wise and discerning and know that no matter what, you're going to have to monitor it. Again, you just got yourself another job.
Yeah.
For sure. Just monitoring the phone.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we'll just, go right past that.
Yeah, we've. I don't wish I could remember what episode we talked about phones on. Maybe unpopular opinion episode.
Yeah, I think we talk about it a lot because it is a thing.
Oh, it's a real thing, and I cannot tell you how many young moms say to me, "We are just not getting our kids a phone when they are, when they become whatever teenagers," and I just am like, okay. Yeah. You might not.
Yeah.
Good for you if you don't. But you also might change your mind. Yeah. But
and we did. I think we changed our mind.
No, we talk. Yeah. We have a
episode
where we talk about that. Recently released before this episode. So it's just.
I wish someone like my parents didn't have to parent phones like with us. So like I wish I would have had a more kind of like we'll see instead of like this is what we're gonna do. I didn't have really like a precedence for it. And so...
Yeah, but you were like kind of your kids were like the start of the phones.
I know.
So I don't think really anybody did.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway.
I was like, I really don't want to get my phones. Like, I don't want to get my kids' phones until a certain age. And I changed my mind. I was like, and I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care to say I changed my mind on it. I did. And it is, we could go on forever about phones. But if you really have a question, just DM us.
Yeah. What about like school pressure, academics, college? Like, how did you guys navigate those things?
Yeah, I just think that we grew up in such a our family, me, you, and such a focus was on the Lord, focus on your relationship with the Lord, church friends, that it wasn't that you could fail or do bad, but you didn't have to make straight A's. And I very much so feel the same way about my kids. And Derek was more studious than I was. And so I don't necessarily know if his parents pushed him in that direction. I don't really think they did.
Yeah.
I kind of just think that's how he was.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's never said his parents did, so I'm assuming they didn't. But I just really care more about my kids' relationship with the Lord than grades. However, I've had some kids that kind of do well with that and are like, self-motivated. And then I've had some kids that we've had to be like, no, grades is not our primary focus, but you absolutely have to do your work and really push to like do work and shift with the way they look at grades.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes. I just care a lot more about character, integrity, who they are as a person, how they're developing in that way than I do about straight A's. And I've told people that in the education system on the phone.
Yeah.
That, hey, I'm just going to tell you, like, that's not my focus.
Yeah.
So I'm fine if my kids are not A students. I'm fine if they're A, B students. I'm fine if they're C student. As long as they're doing their best, that's all I care about.
Yes. Yeah. It definitely the emphasis is more on spiritual formation than the education. Yeah. But education is still important.
Yeah.
But it isn't the most important thing.
No, I mean, Mom said the scripture so much to us, and I actually say it to my kids. The Lord says he will bless the work of your hand, which means you have to work.
Yeah.
You cannot. So I believe that with grades. I believe that with everything you do.
Yeah.
If you put forth the effort, God's going to meet you in the middle. Right. So I've never acted like you can just do whatever you want. Like that's not even how we parent in general.
Right.
However,
to make it the thing, like it's everything rides on that. Your worth on anything, but like your worth is in your grades, in your academics,
in your performance,
sports, school, whatever. Like that's just not something that we've pushed.
No, and it's not. And here's the deal: if that is something you've pushed, I need you to think about this. It doesn't define your kid, and it also is not lifelong.
Right.
Like that.
It doesn't determine their future.
It doesn't determine their future. And some of you might say, well, my kid really wants to be a doctor, so they have to do good. Okay, that's great. And I understand if that is what God's will is for them, they are going to have to work hard, but then they need to be doing that on their own self-motivation. And they also, you can walk alongside them with that and make sure they understand that's awesome. But that's not who you are.
Like, I kind of think that, like, no matter what you say or push, like, if your kid's going to be a doctor, they're going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
If they're going to go into the NFL, they're going to go in the NFL. And there's nothing you can do or can't do to make that happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's totally off base.
But all you can do is walk alongside them and just be like, hey, I'm so proud of you, but I'm not proud of you because you have straight A's. I'm not proud of you because you made it into A&M or UT. I'm proud of you because of who you are in Christ. Yeah. I'm proud of you because your relationship with them. Like, hey, I'm so glad that you are such a good football player, but just make sure you know, I don't care what the coaches say about you, good or bad. I know what the Bible says about you, right? So like, if that's the route they're going to go and you feel, let's say this, that is the route they're supposed to go. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if that's what your kid thinks. You are the ultimate say-so on that because you're the parent. So I think if you're in a relationship with the Lord and are praying for the Lord's will over them, you have a huge impact on that. I think the key is that you are making sure they understand, like, if this is what you want and this is what you feel like God's calling you to do, that's great. It's not what defines you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've always said this about this sport.
It's an identity.
It's an identity.
Like, where's your identity?
Because most of that comes from either what the parents want for their kids or what their kids want for themselves, and it's their total identity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And like, most of the things are fleeting.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. So like I've always said this about sports, like, why is that frozen? Oh gosh. Okay. That was weird. I don't know. It's still recording. Okay. It says device may not be able to keep up. Okay. Hopefully it's fine. It's fine. Dear God. I don't know what is happening right now. So my thing is this, is I'm like, I've always said this about like baseball. I'm like, if your kid becomes an MLB player, great. Yeah. That will end. Yes. At some point. Mm-hmm. And if they have not had a relationship with the Lord, or you have not taught them what is the most important, and not just, oh, God is the most important. Yeah. Like an actual relationship with the Lord, church community. What happens after MLB ends? Yeah. And I am talking extreme, you know, like who in the world of their kids is an MLB player? Very few. But so I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Yeah. So anyways,
and all kids are different. We talked about this. Like some kids are more studious, some aren't. And like there's, you know, we have to push some. We have to tell some not to stress out so much about it because it doesn't mean everything, you know. And so just like that balanced view on academics and school pressure, everything. You know, I don't think college is for everyone. I think it's for most people. Yeah. I don't think it's for everyone. Yeah. And so even those views are really something that my husband and I have talked a lot about. Like, you know, for each kid that might look different, and are we okay with that? And with having 5 kids, that already has looked different for all of my kids. Yeah. And kind of navigating that as well. And I think ultimately when it comes to academics, sports,
Yeah.
future. I want what God wants for them, and I don't want to stand in the way of what that is.
And I think a lot of parents do.
Yeah.
Unintentionally,
Like
sometimes.
thinking that maybe you just know best.
You know better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's like they have such a short little lens, small lens of like, you know, my kid wants this. This is where they're supposed to go. This is what they're supposed to do. And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. And I just think that we have to be very careful. That doesn't mean the kid has to call the shot at all, but I just think we have to be open.
Yes.
And it's hard to be open sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when we just have thought like one way.
Yes.
And anyway, so yeah.
What about like sports and stuff? Like kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like want to play sports, kids play sports. Do you let kids play multiple sports in one season? Do you?
Yeah,
like,
no, we've set out, have we gone over this before? I think that.
Yeah, last week when we recorded this podcast,
Oh, yeah, I
recorded.
know. I'm like, have we recorded? Have we gone over this? Okay.
We have. I think we've touched on it before.
But yeah, sports is like such a huge thing in our area, which maybe everywhere it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, like we always say our area
Yeah.
as if it's not big everywhere
Yes.
else.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's huge everywhere else. And you know, I just, I feel very, very convicted that our conviction as parents is we're not letting sports interrupt Sundays. We're not letting, like Sunday morning church, we're not letting it take over our lives. We have 5 kids. We can't possibly let it take over our lives for one.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, one thing that Derek says about our kids, which I really love, is like our kids are very well-rounded kids, which is they like sports, but they also like social life. They love church. Like they're not just focused, so hyper-focused on like one thing like that. And so I love that, you know, and I also feel like a lot of people who are so hyper-focused on sports for their kids, a lot of them out here don't even go off and play college because they're so burnt out by the time they do. Right. You know, they can. And so I don't know, like sports is a touchy subject out here. I feel like we always have to be very careful.
Yeah.
But
and like some of my favorite memories are my kids playing sports.
Oh, I loved my kids playing sports.
You know,
for sure. I loved it.
I love watching them do really anything that they love to do. But again, it's just one of those balance things. It's being aware of burnout, being aware of extremes, being aware that you're pouring all your money and time into one kid when you have other kids.
Yeah.
I think it's also determining like, are you wanting them to be a pro athlete? You know what I mean?
Do they want to be a pro
athlete?
Like, do they actually want this? Or where, again, going back to where's their worth?
Yeah. Are we playing so much sports that we're not having family dinner?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Are we, all those kind of things. But I will say this, is that we never let our kids quit a sport that we started, a season, in the middle of the season. And I'm telling you, we had one season of Grayson playing basketball that was absolutely horrific. And he was so terrible, and he never even wanted to go. And it was not even in our community. We had put him in a community close to us. And literally, like, it took everything in Jeremy and I for us to finish this season.
Yeah, we've had that before,
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't believe we made this rule that our kids can't quit something because I so bad want them to quit right now. But, like, we finished it out. But, gosh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. It was just a bad idea. I don't know what we were thinking.
I know. We've all done that. We have all done that, guys. You're going to do it too. If you're parents of little kids, you're going to put your kid in a sport. You're going to be like, what the crap?
Yeah.
I just think that like it's so sports more than anything out here. I've seen people get sucked in so hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people who are like, I don't want to get sucked in. I'm not going to get sucked in. And it's unbelievable.
Hard.
It is if your kid is good, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not a problem if your kid's not good. If your kid's not good, if you tell me you didn't get sucked in, I'm like, that's because your kid wasn't good.
Yeah.
Because nobody really cares if your kid's not good. But if your kid is a good athlete, the amount of pressure, invitations to play, begging for them to be on certain teams, it is insane.
Yeah.
And I am just like, guys, I'm just going to be honest. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Even if you love it, that's a lot of problem I see, is that the parents love it so much. If your kid is exhausted all the time, and I don't even care if you say, my kid loves it, they really want it, and we love it, and it is not a problem. They're not even tired. Long term, guys. Listen, I'm talking if it's overtaking your life.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking like if you're balanced. And let's evaluate balance. That's also off
Right.
on people. But if you're balanced and your kid's going to youth group and going to church, whatever. Okay, I'm talking about the other stuff. It's like they're never home on a Sunday. They are always gone. They're never at youth group stuff.
Maybe they're always with other people. That's another thing I've seen. Like, they're not with you.
You're not with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, or your select team has chapel and you consider that your kid's church. Okay. You just need to look big picture here.
Yeah.
Just big picture. It's not worth it. I promise it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth actually just pulling them from that and putting them in something. If they want to play a sport, let them still play a sport, but let it be much more low key.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this from somebody who raised, so far, I have quite a few kids. Ashley and Jeremy have already gone through this. And guess what? Ashley's boys were good athletes. And they played all the time. But it never interfered with their church life.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard not for that to happen and not to get sucked into and not to have to consider certain things they were asked to do. But we just kind of just put the foot down. We weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
What about curfew? Do y'all have a curfew? Do your kids have curfew?
Yeah, we have like a rough little like curfew that's like, I'm not freaking out or checking the clock if they're not home at that time. I think if it's like a consistent, like you're not home by this time consistently, then it's like, okay, we have a conversation. But
we didn't have curfew growing up.
No.
At all. And but my kids definitely had curfew. And I don't even know why. I don't know if I felt like it was just a different time. But then also my kids have broken that rule so many times, some of them. And it definitely was a thing where like you have to be home by curfew. And if you're not, you're going to have some consequences.
Yeah, it's like,
but I think more of a communication thing.
And I think too, sometimes it's just like a peace of mind. Like you just know, like, I don't want to go to bed up, like just not knowing when my kids are going to be home. Like that just feels weird.
Well, and sometimes it was, to me, like it goes back to that whole thing, how we said like if everything special is nothing special. And it's like, no, you have a later curfew maybe on a night that is like a homecoming dance. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But like if every night you don't have a curfew, you can stay up as late as you want, like nothing special when you actually do get to have a later curfew. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, we were just major like, more than anything, I just wanted communication. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like about curfew and stuff. What about like friend groups, you know, things like that? Like any thoughts about teenagers and friend groups? Ages of teenagers with friend groups? Yeah, so pretty much who your kids hang out with is what they're gonna be. So truly, like the friend group to me is a literal make it or break it. What do they say? Show me your friends, show me your future. Yeah, something. And I think it's real, and I think that I literally feel like more than anything else that we have said today, friends are the key to a lot. I don't know if that's what you're gonna say. But. Everything. They're the key to everything, and I'm gonna tell you, if your kids are hanging out with kids that you even question for maybe a second, like you have a gut check about them, you might need to start really praying into that because I think it makes a huge difference. Yeah. What do you think? I think it makes a huge difference too. And we've navigated that poorly and successfully. Different kids, different friend groups, and coming out of those things with 4 boys, you are going to be much more successful when they have a friend group that is trustworthy, that all make good choices for the most part. I'm not saying they're perfect, but you know, there's a big difference. There's a huge difference in how you feel about them going to do things, who they're with, all that kind of thing. Yeah. It's very, I would say when we're talking about this subject more than maybe any of these others, is just really leaning into what the Holy Spirit is speaking to you about your kids and their friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think I've seen in a lot of parents that really struggle if their kids are not with the popular crowd or have a lot of friends, or like there's a lot of stock on the number of friends your kids have. There's a lot of like are they getting invited to all the things? Yes. Yeah. And I'm just like, it is such wrong thinking. Yeah. And I don't want to say that about everything, but I do think that is really, really bad way to look at things. Yeah. And I understand why you think that, but I don't think that's the way you need to think. I think friends are so overrated in the sense of like a large friend group
is what your kid needs.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not actually true.
Or I think we think that it's a sign of like
they're doing well.
Doing good.
That's right. They're doing well because they have so many friends.
Yeah.
I am like, it's not true. And actually, as a matter of fact, it can be a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's always the case, but I think depending on who those friends are is what changes things. I think that friends is where parents choose to be naive in.
Yeah.
Or choose to turn your cheek.
Yeah.
I think that is probably the number one thing I see parents do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I see parents turn their cheek on friendships a lot.
Yeah.
And either they know it or they choose to not see it.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be like, just hold the brakes for a second, right?
Yeah.
Like, who are your kids hanging out with? And if you think for 1 second that your kid is going to not participate in those same things their friends are participating in, you've lost your mind.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I know that's silly. My kids are like, Mom, you always say the weirdest things. But it's true. Like, if you're like, oh yeah, all their friends are kind of experimenting with this stuff, but my kid is not doing that. I'm sorry.
You're lying to yourself.
Well, if they're not doing it now,
they're going to do it. Yeah.
And think about how hard it is as an adult
to
not get pulled into
what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm. And teenagers, they're not mature enough. They don't know. And so, like, I would just say, like, if you have a question about the friend group, it's probably something you need to pray and think more about.
And I, to be honest, I don't think it's something you talk to your kid about.
Right.
Because, like, meaning, if you have a question, don't go to them and ask them questions to make yourself feel better, because they're going to tell you what they know to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay? So don't be
you
like...
You can talk to them about their friends, but you don't need to put stock in what
they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, well, I talked to them, and they said that they don't do this, and this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't think that was a very smart decision. Like, that is, like, something that, like, I, like, feel like it's easy to spot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's huge.
Yeah.
It is a huge thing. And I've told my kids, I would rather you have no friends and just have your family than have friends like that.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it to me. And as a mom and an adult, we can see the big picture.
Yeah.
And whatever, if you choose to hang out with people like that when you're in your 20s, that's your choice. But under my roof, this is just the route we're going.
Yes.
It is a huge thing, and I just think we need to be asking the Holy Spirit to really reveal things to us and not see them.
Yeah. So last thing is just like really like church, like something. Obviously, if you've listened to our podcast for 2 seconds or know us at all, like that's a huge value of ours with our kids and them going. And I've had a lot of people ask me like, you know, what if your kids don't want to go to church, or do you make them go? And like honestly, I think because it just was never an option.
Yeah.
It's just something we do. It's who we are. I mean, I don't know. What about you? Have you had kids push back about not wanting to go to church, about not wanting to be involved in church, that kind of thing?
I've only had kids push back like every once in a while about not wanting to go to something that night. Like very, very seldom. Abby Kate really didn't want to go to youth group for a while. Not like at our current church, but because I think she was the youngest and it was like uncomfortable. Also, she didn't like love sitting in a service because she was like 11, but I was like, yeah, you're going to youth group. Oh, well, like we're just going to push through that. I've never had a kid just push back on church in general. And it's just never been an option. So I think that just doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think it's the way, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. That's all.
I know. I think it's the way you present church to your kids as well from an early age. And even if you change your mind and you do it when they're a later age, I think that we make sure that it's a good thing is to make it a life-giving thing. Yeah. It's not like we have to go to church. We get to go to church.
That's right.
It's
your lingo. It's what your verbiage.
Yeah. Like, how do you speak about it? What do you do on a Sunday morning? Like, is it joyful? Do you have worship music on? Do you make it fun? Do you have a fun breakfast? I'm not saying you have to do that every Sunday. We most certainly do not. But I'm just saying, like, I remember growing up, because my parents did a great job at this, and it was like church was just something we all wanted to go to, but I think it's because of how they presented it.
Yeah.
You know?
And like they did stuff like we went out to eat afterwards.
Right.
Or you know, when our church we're in now, a year ago, we were in a hotel for a very short amount of time, and I told the boys they didn't have a choice. They were going to be on the setup team, which was like so early in the morning. I don't know, like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. Yeah. And so I was like, I'll get you an iced coffee. or I'll go get you a coffee.
Right.
And we'll get a coffee on the way. I didn't do that every single Sunday, but I did it for a little bit because I want them to see the reward in that and have a little bit of an incentive. So I'm not saying you have to do that all the time, but there are times where you can make it enjoyable if your kids are struggling with it a little bit. And also that doesn't mean that you let them call the shots. Oh, your kid doesn't want to go to kids' church. Oh, well.
I mean, my kids sometimes don't want to brush their teeth. But I'm like, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, there
true.
Are certain things that your kids
for whatever
are not
reason, parents
do.
don't like, they have a hard time with that concept.
Yeah.
Oh, they just really don't like kids' church. They just really resonate with adult church better. Well, how old are they? 10? We'll put them in kids' church.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. There's no possible way they are comprehending what is going on in that adult church.
Yeah.
I don't care how smart your kid is.
Yeah.
They're 10 for a reason. Yes. They need to be in a kid's church. 8, whatever, quit trying to take them out of where they fall in their age range.
Yeah.
And just make them go.
Yeah.
And eventually they'll find friends and love it.
Yeah. I do. I think that you can just make it a very life-giving, fun thing for kids to do. And it isn't about pressuring them in their faith or anything like that. But just like we talked about, you're going to learn things in a job you don't learn in school. There's things about church life that your kids are going to learn and take away that just, I think, are amazing for them.
Yeah, and also, depending on what kind of church you go to, oh my gosh, they're always looking for people to serve.
Yeah.
So, get them to serve on a Sunday morning. If they're high schoolers, make them be on the greeting team.
Yeah.
Or make them do something that, or in the kids' church. The high schoolers are great in kids' church. And some of that also makes them feel like they have a purpose.
Yes.
They have a purpose. So then they're kind of okay.
And they're doing something beyond themselves.
Yes,
they're not getting paid to do it. They're not having to do it, but they're doing it, and it's beyond them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can talk about teenagers all day, probably.
We could.
But we can wrap it up with confession of the week if you want.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think it's me.
So, are you doing the same confession, the same one we've done every time we've recorded this podcast? Yes. I mean, this episode?
Yes. Because I got to save these up, if I have a new one, I'm going to save it for the next time. But my confession of the week is just I can't believe we just talked about teenagers and parenting and all this stuff because it's really bad parenting probably. But Ella, we had a busy Sunday and she had youth group that night and it was just late and everything. And the next one, she just started a new school and she was did not want to go to school. She was laying on the couch, did not want to wake up, did not want to go. And I mean, I all out just bribed her to go. I was I will take you to Starbucks and get you a drink and something to eat if you get up and get ready and go to school. And I literally am did I ever do that with the boys? I don't think so.
Well, because you couldn't, because then you would have to do it for all of them.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
She's the only one home. But I literally was just I'm not fooling with this today. I am not. I need to have a good day.
That's
and
hilarious.
If she doesn't go to school, it's not going to start off with a good day. And you know what? If she's smart, she'll probably try to pull that stuff again. I hope not. I hope it was just a one-off. She hasn't done it again, but I literally did I bribed her.
No, but that's exactly what I just said. I bribed the boys to go to help us set up. I got them iced coffees.
It's almost it's a tool in your back pocket that you sometimes have to pull out.
Sometimes. And that's the key. Because it's no longer a tool if you use it all the time.
That's true.
So you use it sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Bribing works sometimes with your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, it's when your kid is 4 and they're pitching a fit about going to something the babysitter coming over or going to childcare at church. And every week you're you're going to get a punishment if you don't go in there, because they're old enough to understand. And then one day you're if you go in there good, I will get you a lollipop.
You're switch it up.
Yes.
You're maybe this will work.
You're you know what? I'm going from mean mom to what? I will get you a cookie.
Yeah.
You're whatever will work.
I know. I think that day it was I'm either going to have to choose one or the other.
And you know what? One is a little bit easier than the other.
One is a lot easier.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So. That's a good confession. And it's actually true.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's a little harder for me to do stuff like that because my kids are so close in age. So it feels if I do it for one, I have to do it for all of them.
I'm not proud of it. It just happened.
We went to Elevation the other night, and Anne-Marie's will you please buy me merch? And I was no, because then I feel I have to buy merch for all of y'all.
That's true, too.
Which, I mean, we don't, and there's times where we don't, but, at the same time, I was I don't feel like it.
I know. I don't want to fool with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
All right. That's good. Thanks for listening.
Guys.
Bye.